Hello students, welcome to first year business studies introduction class. Let us see the syllabus of business studies. So in business studies first year there are 11 chapters are there. So first chapter is business, trade and commerce. Business, trade and commerce. So total marks allotted to this chapter is 7. So out of 7, 1 marks question, 1 question will be there, 2 marks, 1 question will be there and 4 marks, 1 question will be there. So in this chapter, you learn about the introduction related to business, the nature and concepts of business, characteristics of business activities, classification of business activities, industry, commerce, objectives of business as well as nature of business risk and causes of business risk. Then what is business? So business, it is a major economic activities. So it is concerned with production and sale of goods and services required by the people. Then what is trade? Trade means buying and selling of goods and services. Then what is commerce? Commerce includes both trade and auxiliaries to trade. So commerce, it is a part of business which is concerned with the exchange of goods and services, which includes both trade as well as auxiliaries to trade. So next move on to the next chapter. So second chapter is forms of business organization. So total mark allotted to this chapter is 19 marks. So 1 marks, 1 question will be there, 2 marks, 1 question and 8 marks, 2 question will be there in this chapter. In this chapter, you learn about the introduction part relating to forms of business organization, and under that you are going to learn about sole proprietorship, partnership type of business, then joint Hindu family, cooperative, societies and companies. So what is sole proprietorship? So sole proprietorship means which is owned and managed and controlled by an individual. Then you learn about the partnership there. So what is partnership firm? 2 or more person agree to carry the business and they are going to share the profit as well as losses. Next one, joint Hindu family type of business. So joint Hindu family type means business is owned and managed by the family member. So joint stock company. So joint stock company means it is an artificial person created under the law, separate legal entity and perpetual succession and common seal will be there for the joint stock company. There are 2 types of companies. One is private company as well as public company. Next move on to the third chapter. Next one is private, public and global enterprises. Total marks allotted to this chapter is 7 marks. 1 marks, 1 question will be there, 2 marks, 1 question and 4 marks, 1 question will be there. So here you will learn about the private sector as well as public sector. Next one, forms of organizing the public sector enterprises. There you will come across departmental undertaking, statutory companies and as well as government companies. Next, global enterprises and joint venture. Then what is private sector? Private sector means if the business is owned by individuals and groups, whereas the public sector, it is owned and managed by the government. So global enterprises. Global enterprises means it is the huge industrial organization which extends their industries and marketing operations through network of their branches in several countries. Next one is joint venture. Joint venture means 2 business agrees to join together for common purpose and mutual benefits. Next chapter is business services. Next chapter is business services. So in this chapter, total marks allotted it 15 marks. So 1 marks, 1 question, 2 marks, 1 question, 4 marks, 1 question, and 8 marks, 1 question. So in this chapter, you learn about the introduction related to business services, nature of services, types of services. So under types of services, first one is banking services. Under banking, the different types of banks you are going to learn. So different types of banks means commercial bank, cooperative banks, specialized banks, and central banks. So what is business services? Business services means which are used by the business enterprises for conducting their business activities. Under types of services, one of the service is insurance. So under insurance, you are going to learn types of insurance, that is life insurance, fire insurance, as well as marine insurance. Next, third type is transportation. Next one, communication is there, that is also one of the services, and last one is the warehousing. So here also you are going to learn different types of warehouses. So next, fifth chapter, emerging mode of business. So total marks allotted to this chapter is 7 marks. So 1 marks, 1 question will be there, 2 marks, 1 question, and 4 marks, 1 question will be there. So in this chapter, you learn about the e-business activities. So under e-business, their scopes, benefits, as well as limitations will be there. Next one, online transactions, safety and security of e-transactions, e-business risk, as well as resources required for the successful e-business implementation, and lastly, outsourcing. So then what is e-business? E-business means conduct the business activity, that is industry, trade and commerce, using the computer network. Next, move on to the 6th chapter. Next chapter is social responsibility of business and business ethics. So total marks allotted is 7 marks. So 1 marks, 1 question, 2 marks, 1 question, and 4 marks, 1 question will be there. So under this chapter, you learn about the introduction relating to social responsibilities, concept and need of social responsibilities, kinds of social responsibilities, business and environmental protection, causes of pollution, as well as business ethics. Then what is social responsibility? Social responsibility means responsibility of the businessman towards the society, or we can say that it involves an element of voluntary action on the part of the business people for the benefit of the society. Next chapter is formation of a company. So in this chapter, total marks allotted is 7, 1 marks, 1 question, 2 marks, 1 question, and 4 marks, 1 question. So in this chapter, you are going to learn introduction to how to start the company, that is formation of a company, promotion of the company, function of the company, and incorporation of the company. In this chapter, you learn about how the company will come into existence. So what are the procedures and documents required in order to start a company. So let us move on to the next chapter. So total marks allotted is 19 marks here. So 1 mark, 1 question, 2 mark, 1 question, 4 mark, 2 questions will be there. Next one, 8 marks, 1 question. So under sources of business finance, you learn the mean. So what is business finance? Business finance means the finance which is required to start and run the particular business, the finance is required. So where they are going to acquire, how they are going to acquire the finance. So in this chapter you learn the meaning, nature and significance of business finance. Next one, sources of business finance. There are different sources are there. So retained earnings, trade credit, factoring, issuing the shares, debentures, public deposits, commercial papers. All these you are going to learn under the business finance. Next, so under this chapter you learn the international financing. Under international financing, GDRS, ADRS as well as IDRS. So GDRS means Global Depository Receipts, American Depository Receipts as well as Indian Depository Receipts. So next move on to the next chapter. So in this chapter total marks allotted is 7, 1 marks 1 question, 2 marks 1 question and 4 marks 1 question will be there. So in this chapter you learn the meaning and nature of small business, role of small business as well as problems relating to small business, government assistance to the small industries and small business units and institutional support given to the small business. So next chapter is, in this chapter total marks allotted is 15, 1 mark 1 question, 2 marks 1 question, 4 mark 1 question and 8 marks 1 question. In this chapter you learn about internal trade meaning, wholesale trade, retail trade as well as wholesale trade, service to manufacturers and service to retailers. Under retail trading, service to the manufacturers as well as service to wholesalers. Types of retail trade. So under types of retail trade you are going to learn about fixed shop, chain shop, departmental shops, mail orders and consumer cooperative stores. So the internal trade means buying and selling of goods within the boundaries of the country. We call it as internal trade. So next move on to the next chapter. Total mark allotted in this chapter is 14 marks. 1 marks 2 questions will be there, 2 marks 2 questions and 8 mark 1 question will be there. Total 14 marks. So in this chapter you learn the meaning of international business, reasons for international business, scope for international business and what are the benefits from the international business, modes of entering into the international business and joint venture as well as export and import procedures. So what is international business? International business means buying and selling of goods out of the boundaries of the country is known as international business. Then what is export and import trade? So export trade means selling of goods and services to the another country from our home country to foreign country is known as export. Import means purchasing of goods from the foreign country, or we can say that from purchase of goods and services from foreign country to home country, that we call it as an import trade. So let us see the question paper pattern. So the time duration is 3 hours 15 minutes and the maximum marks allotted is 100 marks. Under section A, total number of questions to be asked is 12, number of questions to be answered is 10, marks for each question 1. So total marks for A section is 10. Next, under section B, total number of questions to be asked is 12, number of questions to be answered is 10, marks for each question is 2, the total marks for B section is 20. Next, section C, total number of questions to be asked is 10, number of questions to be answered is 7, marks for each question 4 and total marks for C section is 28. Next, section D, total number of question to be asked is 6, number of question to be answered is 4, marks for each question is 8, total marks for D section is 32. Next, section E, this is practical oriented question. So total number of question to be asked is 3, number of question to be answered is 2, marks for each question is 5, total marks for each section is 10. So the maximum marks is 100. I hope today's session was useful for you all. Thank you.